Welcome. Today, we are diving deep into one of the weirdest and most important topics in AI right now: hallucinations. You know that moment when a super smart AI confidently tells you something that's just completely made up? If you've ever found yourself wondering if you can really trust the answers you're getting, then this is for you. We're going to break it all down.
Okay, so let me throw a statement at you. The Eiffel Tower was originally designed as a lighthouse for incoming ships to Paris. Just think about that for a second. It sounds kind of specific, right? It has that ring of a cool, obscure fact you might pull out at a dinner party. But yeah, it's totally wrong. Paris, as you know, isn't exactly a port city. A large language model generated that sentence with what felt like complete and utter confidence. And that, right there, that's a perfect example of an AI hallucination. It's exactly what we're here to unpack.
So, here's our game plan for today. First, we'll define what these hallucinations actually are. Then, we'll dig into why they happen in the first place. After that, we'll get into the good stuff, how you can actually manage them. We'll also zoom out and talk about the bigger ethical questions they raise. And finally, we'll look ahead to what a smarter, more reliable AI might look like.
All right, let's jump right in. First up, what exactly are we talking about when we say AI hallucination?
So, at its heart, an AI hallucination is an answer that sounds super convincing, super plausible, but it's just factually wrong or totally nonsensical. And here's the really crucial part. The AI delivers this bogus information with an air of absolute certainty. It's a powerful reminder that just because an AI sounds coherent, that doesn't mean it's correct. And that's what makes this whole thing so tricky. This is a perfect illustration of that. The real distance is, around 384,000 kilometers. But 54 million is stated so matter-of-factly that you might just nod along and not even question it. And here's the key thing to remember. The AI isn't lying in the human sense. It's not trying to deceive you. It's just a pattern matcher, not a fact checker. It's generating what it calculates is the most statistically probable sequence of words.
And these hallucinations, well, they come in a few different flavors. As you can see here, they can be as simple as contradicting themselves within the same breath, or they can ignore your instructions completely. And then you get the big ones, just making up a fact out of thin air, or inserting some random nonsensical phrase that just comes out of left field. The common thread in all of this is a fundamental breakdown in logic.
So that's the what. Now let's get to the why. Let's pop the hood and see what's going on. Why does this incredibly sophisticated technology, designed to process massive amounts of information, end up just making things up?
Well, you can really boil it down to four main culprits. First, the data the AI learns from isn't perfect. Second, there's this constant balancing act in its divide between being creative and being accurate. Third, sometimes it's us. Our own vague questions can lead it astray. And finally, there's the whole black box problem. These models are so incredibly complex that even their own creators don't fully understand how they reason. Think of an AI's training data like its diet. When you feed it huge chunks of the internet, including forums like Reddit and user-edited sites like Wikipedia, it's inevitably going to consume some junk food. It learns from all the biases, errors, and just plain misinformation that's out there. And later, those flawed patterns can pop back up as very confident-sounding hallucinations. And this right here, this captures the constant tug-of-war that's happening inside the model. Developers are always trying to balance two competing goals. On one hand, making the AI sound fluent, human, and creative. And on the other, making it factually accurate and reliable. If you lean too far into creativity, the model is much more likely to just invent things to keep the conversation flowing smoothly. Okay, so it might sound a little bleak, but here's the good news. While the developers are working on the big long-term fixes, we are not helpless. As users, there are absolutely things we can do right now to manage these hallucinations and get way better, more reliable results. Honestly, the most powerful tool in your toolbox is being precise. Just look at the difference here. A vague prompt like, "What happened in World War II?" gives the AI this massive open field to wander around in, which dramatically increases the chance it gets lost. But a specific, detailed prompt, that provides guardrails. It guides the model towards the factual, relevant information you're actually looking for. Now, if you're using some of the more advanced AI tools, you might see a setting called temperature. The easiest way to think about this is as a creativity dial. If you need factual, straight-down-the-line answers, turn that dial way down low. You'll get more conservative, safer results. If you're brainstorming or creative writing, sure, you can crank it up, but just know that you are also cranking up the risk of hallucinations.
All right, a couple more pro tips. You can actually teach the model by giving it a few examples of the kind of output you want. But really, the ultimate defense against hallucinations is still the original smart device, your brain. Human oversight is absolutely critical. Always fact-check important information and treat any AI output as a first draft, a starting point, never the final word.
So let's zoom out for a minute, because this isn't just some quirky technical glitch. Hallucinations point to some really big, profound questions about this technology and how we use it. What hallucinations really show us at a fundamental level is that AI doesn't know things the way we do. Our knowledge is built on experience, on understanding cause and effect. And AI's knowledge is based on probability. It's simulating understanding by just predicting the next word in a sequence. It's an incredibly sophisticated pattern matcher, but it's not a thinker. And that is a limitation we must never forget. And that means that tackling this problem is a shared responsibility. It's a partnership. Developers have a duty to build more transparent systems and use cleaner data. But we, as users, have a responsibility too. We need to become more AI literate, to understand the tool's weaknesses, and always apply a healthy dose of critical thinking. So, where does all of this lead? What's the future look like for dealing with this strange and challenging phenomenon? Well, the long-term goal isn't just playing whack-a-mole, trying to patch up errors as they appear. The real goal is to build systems with something called knowledge integrity. Now, in simple terms, that just means creating AIs that can anchor their answers in the real world. AIs that can connect to live, verifiable databases so they can actually check their work against proven facts, not just statistical guesswork. Ultimately, solving this hallucination problem is a massive step towards what many people call the Holy Grail, explainable AI. We want to move away from a black box that we can't peer into and towards a transparent system where we can actually trace its reasoning and understand how it got to an answer. Building that trust is absolutely essential if these tools are ever going to become truly reliable partners for us. And that really brings us to the final, crucial question we have to ask ourselves. AI hallucinations aren't just a bug to be fixed. They are a feature that reveals the deep cognitive boundaries of this technology. It forces us to confront the big question, are we building an instrument to assist our own reasoning, or are we trying to build its replacement? The answer to that is going to define our entire future with this technology.